Dizzy. Okay, let's give this a minute and see if anybody comes over. If I don't get anybody, then I'll just tape it. Desi. What are you doing? Okay, somebody has come in, but I'm not able to tell who yet. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Hello, Chantel with Creations with Heart on the ASC design team. And the little squeaker you hear down here is my dachshund, Duchess Disraeli. You may hear the word toy or treat throughout. That's because she has learned to use buttons and she requests those two items quite often. So if you hear me say no, it's me telling her that she can't have her toy or treat right now. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to use the mitering tool on the ASC website on Etsy, which we are moving off of Etsy here pretty soon. And this is the mitering tool that I'm talking about. This is actually the front. And what you do is you're going to line up the corner of the area that you want to miter right here or here or here. And what it does is when you line up in that little bitty triangle, it will give you the allowance that you need. We call it seam allowance in sewing, to be able to wrap around the chipboard so that your edges will meet properly. They can touch or kiss, but not overlap. That's the way it's normally stated. And there are 4 different measurements. This is if you want a 0.125 edge, 0.1875 edge, 0.625 edge, and 0.25 edge. Now, I put a little piece of Tyvek so I can stick my finger in and move it quickly. And I also, there are these little things called True Grips. I cut them in half and put them in the back, in the 4 corners, because they're see-through. You can barely see them, which is good because you just want to be able to see through them so you can still see your paper underneath. And it just holds the paper better. So I have 1/2 done of what we're going to do tonight. So we're going to use this tool, and we're also going to, I'm going to show you a new wrapping technique. Well, not necessarily new, it's just another one that I've learned, an alternate method. So for this wrapping technique, you take your piece of chipboard, and we're only going to wrap over the sides of 3 sides, your top and bottom, in right or left. And you want to do the opposite for the opposite side. So this piece is 10.5 by 9. So this one is cut at 12 by 9.75 for the paper. And that's because we can't go any higher than 12. So I had to cut it, can only do a 70.75 or 3/4 margin to wrap around. And you'll notice that I place score lines. Score lines in there just make it easier. Some people like to draw lines with their ruler. Some use little measuring guides that they place that are 3/4 or 1 inch, and they place it right there, and you place the chipboard right up next to it. I just found it easier, since we know what the measurements are, to just score there, and it gives me a perfect line to line my chipboard on. And I then go out another 1/16 of an inch and score again, and it makes it easier to fold around the chipboard. You don't have to fight it so much. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put double-sided adhesive on the back of the chipboard. And I've done one of them already. Should have taken that out. Sorry about that. Now I know not everybody has these larger adhesive tapes, which is fine. Use whatever you've got. Only reason why I have this 6-inch is because scrapbook.com had it on for 50% off, so I treated myself. And those are just magnets to hold it down for me. And so this is quick when you have the larger tape. Lay it down. And use any straight edge, or you can use an X-Acto knife. Magnets are both your friend and your enemy. I just like my metal edge ruler. And I just rip it like that. And it's just really quick. So I use this for putting on very large page backings or for covering the outside of the album. I can get it done fast, quick, and in a hurry. Now I'm going to have a pucker right there, but I'm going to leave it and not worry about it. There's a real easy way to handle it. And it's covered. Burnish real good. And if you got a pucker like that, just rub it in. Now, depending on how good you are with your X-Acto knife, right here I've got quite a bit of overlap. If it was only a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch, I wouldn't worry about it. But since it is more than 1 inch, I'll lay my straight edge ruler or my metal edge ruler and very lightly score. Don't press into the chipboard. And you can just pull it up like that. And I always save the big pieces of this. This is the backing off the adhesive. And then I can take and do things like this is perfectly usable. And that's pretty big amount. And you can use both sides of it. And so I'll just use that later on in the album. And right here where it overlaps, I just go underneath it, pull up the paper, the one that's on the bottom, and pull it from underneath. Put it on the top and burnish it. Now the two adhesive edges are overlapping, touching each other, and won't give you any problems when you go to take all this off. Okay. So this we're going to put face down right in there where that score line is, right in between those score lines. And this is sticking up. I'm just going to push it back. I'll show you just a second. Just press it, roll it over onto the chipboard. And that gets rid of all those edges that are sticking out. I don't even worry about trimming them off. I just use the excess to make certain that edge is going to be good and stuck. Now, because I'm using double-sided tape, you don't necessarily have to use glue, but I am not all that confident. And when you use glue, with double-sided tape, one, you ensure that it's not going to come up. Two, it gives you wiggle room. So if I lay this down wrong, I have a few seconds to pull it back up. No, you may not have a treat right now. If I don't put glue, when it's down, it's down. I will rip everything up. No, you may not have a treat. So this is the insurance that gives me time as a newbie to, you are not starving. Get it down where I want it. So I'm just going to go, do not cross the score line, go just dead up on it. And burnish it down. And I just put that on the wrong side. That is okay. Oh no, I didn't put it on the wrong side. Excuse me. I forgot that I didn't put the tape on this edge yet. Now, for the edges, same thing that you're used to doing if you've been making mini albums. This is 5/8 inch tape. Crystal sent me some to try out, and this is that tape. And I can tell you it's a very strong adhesive, at least by the smell. You won't go all the way to the corners. Stop at your store lines. No need, because you're just going to waste that, because you're going to cut that off in just a minute with the mitering tool. I'm not seeing any comments, but I see that someone else has come in, but it doesn't tell me who. I wish it did. Burnish that really well. And now we're going to use that tool. So it's this corner right here. We're going to line up, and I use the 0.1875. And we're going to line that up with that corner there. When I line that up, you'll see these lines right here. You line that up right on the score line, and then I'm going to cut it with an X-Acto knife. And this is such a super tool. And those true grips really make a difference in the slide. It holds it still so that you can put not as near as much pressure and slice that off. And I like the little handle. Okay. Now, because I put score lines down, this folds up just like that, just as easy as can be. With one finger, it's quite easy. But that's only, I don't have to fight with it because I pre-scored it. Again, you don't have to use glue, but I just cannot bring myself to not put glue down. I've seen a few videos where they checked at 5 years and 7 years and 10 years, and the ones that had glue were the ones that made it. The ones that were just tape were coming apart, it seems. So, and those that had both weren't tearing apart. They were enduring 7 and 10 years later. And I really don't want someone to come back to me in 10 years and say, can you repair this? No. I just don't want to see it again. But if you put the tape down, you don't need near as much glue. And as you can see, perfect miter practically. Could have gotten a little bit more, but it's kind of hard when you're trying to do a camera angle to get right up over that tool. And so, the mitering is simple as pie. And it's quick and it's easy. You know, it's going to be at the right angle and everything. Okay. Now this is the spine, and this is 3.5. So this should be 5.5. And just measure it 5.5. And I've gone ahead and placed tape on both sides because when I go to put the spine in, I'm going to need tape on to adhere the spine. So it'll be more difficult to get in there to put the tape in once I turn this into a binder in a few minutes. So I went ahead while I had it and tape both sides. So you have no overlap. If you do, tuck it under. I need more glue, and that was one of the things on my list to put down. Now, if you don't want to put glue, this much glue, for insurance, you can just put it on the edge that you're going to line up, that you're going to do the lay it down with, and I'll show you what I mean. If this is the edge that I'm going to go down with first, and just put the glue right here around that edge, and then if I have to pull it back up, I can, because the glue gives me time and allows me to do it. Tape, if there was no glue, I could not have picked that back up. The thing is, tape allows you to put it down and go and be done with it. Glue, you have to wait a few minutes. Okay, this is going to go here. So I don't need all of this. I'm going to take off. While I was taping, if I had thought about it, I would have stopped that 1/4 inch lower. And that's okay. That comes up very easy. If you just don't dig, it'll take just the backing. Oh, that's not the one I need to take up. Now let's see, it just dawned on me. I've got to miter these two sides first. I'll lay this back down to cover that so it doesn't stick to my tool. And I need to, I'm going to use the smaller one, the 0.125 to miter. I'm going to see how that comes out. And normally you don't miter at the spine, so this is something that's a little different. But when I show you how to put this together, you're going to understand why. It may need to be a little closer. We're going to see. Actually, I do. I need to be 0.625. You can always take more off. We just can't put more back on. So. There's a reason why you need to be so close, which you're going to see here in a minute. Okay, now this comes on. Hold on to that in case I need it again. At the top and the bottom only. Don't put the sides down. Top and the bottom only. Now, you see I'm overlapping onto the tape. I will be able to get that tape from underneath there because they use this as a backing for adhesive because it peels away. So that will come out of there. So there's no big stew. I'll line this up here. I know that this is 0.75. I should cut here and here, and that should get approximately what I need. I don't mind being a little bit smaller. And I did it again. Forgot to miter first. Why didn't somebody tell me? Decided that something ding, but that dinging is going to be on Facebook, and I can't see Facebook. I can't believe she's not pressing her buttons. She's been pressing her buttons for days now, and it's her birthday was yesterday, so she celebrated her birthday today. I didn't get a chance to yesterday. She's had turkey bacon and cheese today was her treat. So I guess she's in a turkey bacon coma over there. Can't see that edge. Now I should be done with that little scrap. These larger pieces, a lot of times I keep 3 or 4 of them tucked back for just things like that, or you put glue down and realize you forgot to do something. Even with wet glue, I could slap one of those little pieces on and you can still go back and use it. Okay, now this is what is neat about this new. Normally you have a cracking issue because you're doing one long piece of paper and you're laying and then you work it back and forth. That's not what we're going to do this time. Going to lay your spine down. I just like to lay it straight. Use my magnets to hold it still. No bark. Pull that up. Just kind of work it straight up, which because you scored it, it should have no problems. Lay your next piece of board and butt it up right next to it. And if you're using something straight like I am, which you can't see down here, I'm on this line right here. You can tell whether or not you're straight. Butt it straight up. And you will need to put the tape on the underside. This is the spine with 1 inch on each side and tape on the underside. I accidentally put it on that side, but it's okay because I have to do something there anyway. Now you take the tape off. I've got a little bit underneath here. I need to get out of there. Okay, well that's not good, but it'll be okay. This is that new tape, so. All right, it came out. No big stew. insurance. Just lay it down on top and burnish it. Now, see how that flexes and moves? And you have no cracking issue because the spine is not going over that. Now, I will say this. In my case, I am putting a piece over that's going to go 1 inch on this side around here. So I can leave this chipboard exposed right here because I'm going to cover it from the outside. If you do not intend on putting anything around here, then you will have to wrap this one on all 4 sides. But you don't have to put anything there if you're going to wrap on the outside. So do keep that in mind. Almost done. Tape just makes life easier. This glue going to come out for me. I'll get enough of that to be an insurance, and then I need to go unclog it. Lay it down. Burnish it. And my binder is done. My outside is covered. And I will not have a cracking issue, and I can lay it flat. I can even go this direction, doesn't matter. I'm not going to have any problems with this laying flat. So that is the alternate method that I have learned for covering or making the cover, wrapping the cover, and that is the mitering tool. You can pick this up in the ASC shop, like I said earlier. If you like the video, please don't forget to hit and subscribe. And don't forget to use coupon code CWH10, the number 1, number 0, for 10% off regular purchases. Have a great time, and thanks for staying with me.